verses? 10, 8, 34. Kasman midam adantatman Bhavam Bhakshitavan Raha Vedante Tavakayete Kumaraste Grajopyayam Kasman Midam Adantatman Bhavam Bhakshitavan Raha Vedante Tavakayete Kumaraste Grajopyayam
Kasman vidam adantatman Bhavan Bhakshitavan Raha Vadanti Tavakayete Kumaraste Grajopyayam
Kasman vidam adantatman Bhavan Bhakshitavan Raha Vadanti Tavakayete Kumaraste Grajopyayam
Tasman Ridam Madam Tatman Bhavan Bhakshitavan Raha Vadanti Tavakayete Kumaraste Grajopyayam
Tasman vidam adantatman Bhavan Bhakshitavan Raha Vadanti Tavakayete
Kasmat, why? Midam, dirt. Adanta Atman, you restless boy. Bhavan, you. Bhakshitavan, have eaten. Raha, in a solitary place. Vadanti, are lodging this complaint. Tavaka, your friends and playmates. He, indeed. Ete, all of them. Kumara, boys. Te, your. Agraja, older brother. Api, also. Confirms. I am this. Translation. Dear Krishna, why are you so restless that you have eaten dirt in a solitary place? This complaint has been lodged against you by all your playmates, including your elder brother, Balaram. How is this? Please repeat. Dear Krishna, why are you so restless that you've eaten dirt in a solitary place? This complaint has been lodged against you by all your playmates, including your elder brother Balaram. How is this? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Mother Yashoda was agitated by Krishna's restless misbehavior. Her house was full of sweetmeats. Why then should the restless boy eat dirt in a solitary place? Krishna replied, my dear mother, they have plotted together. I've got to have my feet somewhere. My dear mother, why have you plotted together? Why have they plotted together and lodged a complaint against me so that you will punish me? My elder brother Balaram has joined them. Actually, I have not done this. Take my words as true. Do not be angry and chastise me. Om Agyanam Tamranasya Gyananyan Shlakaya Chakrum Tamyana Tasmai Shri Venama Shri Chaitanya Manobstam Swapatamyan Gurule Swaram Rupadamayam Tadata Swapadantikam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON and my spiritual master. Hare Krishna. So Krishna is always having fun. He lives to enjoy life. He is the supreme enjoyer, Purushottama, and he wants everybody else to enjoy life too. So when you have a party, if you have a lot of money, you invite as many people as possible. Recently they had that big wedding in India. Ambani, you heard about that? You don't watch the news? That's good. So Ambani, he's a very wealthy man, and wealthiest man in India at least, probably in the top 10 in the world. But he had a wedding for his son, and so they had all these huge popular musicians, mainly from America. Beyonce, have you ever heard of her? You ever heard her sing? No, not. I haven't.
Who's that?
But she's famous. Beyonce. And then they had that other guy, Justin Bieber. They paid him $10 million each just for one night performance. They got so much money they didn't know what to do with it. So they also, to look good, it was kind of nice. They paid for 1,000 or however many weddings for poor people, because people criticized, you got so much money, you're spending billions of dollars on a wedding for your son, what about the poor people who are starving? So as a kind of a consolation, they arranged weddings for poor people and spent a few million on that. Not much. So, Krishna, they're just pretending to be Krishna. Because Krishna, he likes to have a party and he likes everybody to come, because he's all about having fun. So he doesn't bother with, the nitty-gritty of the physical world. This physical creation, he's too busy enjoying life. Prabhupada gave the example of somebody wealthy, business magnate. He has so much money, but he doesn't have to work anymore. He doesn't want to work. Who wants to work? You want to work? No. So we don't want to work. So Krishna doesn't want to work. So he expands himself, or he deputes other living entities who have a tendency to control, like Brahma, or the demigods, they want to control. That's fine. It's good, somebody needs to control. So he gives them a chance to control while he's busy enjoying. And this is one of his favorite activities, to be a child and to have fun with his friends and his mother, so-called mother, and just to joke around. He's always joking, Krishna. So sometimes, he steals butter, even though they've got plenty of milk products in their home, but he goes to other gopis' homes and steals their butter and spills the yogurt and butter on the floor. And so those gopis, they catch Krishna and they bring him to Mother Yashoda, and they complain and they say, look at your son. How can you let him be like this? He's very naughty. You have to correct him, otherwise he's going to grow up and he's going to be a criminal. So it's a bit like the story of Prabhupada tells of the boy who was brought up by his aunt, and she didn't chastise him. So, he became a criminal, and then he was sentenced to death. he killed somebody or something. So then he had one last request. You're allowed one last thing before you die. So he called for his aunt, and you probably know the story. Anyway, he called for his aunt, and he said, I want to whisper something in your ear. And he bit her ear off. He said, this is your fault, because you didn't chastise me when I was young. Because Krishna's, so these gopis, they thought that Krishna needed to be chastised, otherwise he would become a criminal. So therefore, they would catch him and bring him to Mother Yashoda, and when she looked, it was their own son Krishna had put there instead of himself. He'd, some or other escaped. Oh, then he said, next time it'll be your husband. So Krishna's always having fun. So one time, Krishna, he wanted to grow some pearls, because Krishna, he can do anything. So therefore he asked for some of the gopis, because they had some beautiful pearls. So he said, please give me some of your pearls. I want to grow some pearls. Now everybody knows. Do you all know? You can't grow pearls. You can't plant pearls in the ground and it becomes a tree and it produces pearls. Did you know that? No? You can't grow pearls. So Krishna, he said, well, I'm going to grow some pearls. So he wanted to get some of their pearls. They said, no, we're not going to give you any pearls. Pearls, we need all our pearls to decorate our cows and all that. So they wouldn't give him any pearls. So he said, Mother, please give me some of your pearls. I want to decorate my cows. So she said, well, what are you going to do with the pearls? He said, I'm going to plant them in the ground and I'm going to grow some pearl trees. So she said, don't be silly, little boy. You're just a little boy. What do you know? You don't know anything about agriculture. Anyway, so then he convinced her to give him some pearls. So he planted the pearls in the ground. And he watered them with milk. And very soon, they started growing. And the gopis, they came by and they looked and they said, oh, these are just going to be weeds. They're going to be thorny weeds. So they were laughing. And then so suddenly these little plants manifested beautiful pearls on them. And so the gopis, they thought they'd imitate Krishna. They'll get some pearls and they'll plant some pearls in the ground and the pearls will produce more beautiful pearls. So they got some pearls, they planted them in the ground and they watered them with the milk, and believe it or not, they grew thorn trees. So then they were trying to beg some pearls from Krishna because he had so many pearls and they wanted some pearls, so they were begging for pearls. And he said, no, you were laughing at me and I couldn't grow any pearls and you thought you were so clever, you grew thorns. So then they said, well, actually, you know what? This land that you grew the pearls on does not belong to you. This is Radha, is called Radha Vrindavaneshwari. She's the controller of Vrindavan. She's the proprietor of all the land here. So you actually stole this land and you grew these pearls. So you're not the owner of these pearls. Those are our pearls. So anyway, Krishna's always having fun. So that's the spiritual world. We can have fun with Krishna or we can suffer in the material world. We have to make a choice. What do we really want? Do we want to remain in this world and chew the chewed, keep chewing the chewed? What's that verse? Punat punachavata chavananam matina krishna partosudova na bivajat grihavatanam adantago bia vishitam tamishram punat punachavata chavananam. It's a famous verse. Who's it spoken by? Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj is instructing his classmates that materialistic people, their inclination to serve Krishna is never aroused by the instructions of others or by their own intelligence. They are simply happy going to hell and chewing the chewed. So this is their program. So we don't want to keep doing the same old thing again and again. We want to try to be serious about our spiritual life and make progress and go back to Godhead. Because the spiritual world is all fun. And Krishna, he's he dances with billions of gopis. Billions. Because he likes to have very intimate relationships with people. So he's dancing. And we're all dancing according to the tune of Maya. Everybody, Maya's like the puppet master. She's controlling everybody with the tempting people, and they're doing things and they're suffering bad reactions. And so, we have a wonderful lifestyle, singing and dancing. And there's a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that devotees are always happy. They're always swimming in the ocean of bliss, and they're dancing and chanting the holy name. So that's the life of a devotee. But non-devotees, they have very miserable lives. So therefore, devotees want to help them. This is the duty of a devotee, to try to give people a chance to hear about Krishna. So when Krishna was with Balaram, he was walking through the forest in Vrindavan, so he saw the trees were bowing down with their fruit. They were very heavily laden with wonderful fruit, you can't imagine. I mean, I have fruit trees on my farm. You have a few here, nice apples. The figs didn't get ripe this year. I stole a few last year. There were none to steal this year. Sorry. But you have a lot of fig trees. When were they planted? Anyone know? Beautiful big fig trees, amazing. Loads of figs, but they're not going to get ripe this year. Huh? You planted them, the fig trees?
There was most of them, the big ones near the garden, they more than 10 years old.
They look pretty old, they're huge. I mean, they're almost as big as this ceiling. Huh? Yeah, but too cold summer, I think. Anyway, so, these trees, they were bowing down to Krishna and Balaram, and Krishna said, look at these trees, they're bowing down to you, they're all full of fruit. And he just glorified the trees. He said, they're so magnanimous, they're doing so much service. And then he said, Etavan janmasappalyam dehishu idainam pranayata dhyavacha sadashrenam something. So he said, it is a duty, and this was a verse that Lord Chaitanya repeated when he's talking about the fruit of love of God. He said, there's so much fruit of love of God, but I cannot distribute it all by myself. I need help. So he said, it's the duty of every human being to work for the benefit of others, using their wealth, their life, their body, their breath, their money, everything should be utilized for the benefit of others. So, we're lucky because we have Krishna and we have this is amazing building. I was walking around it, went up to the very top floor. You could fix that up and a few people could live up there. This place has a lot of facility. You'd have to spend a bit of money, but I mean, the stones are still good, needs a bit of pressure washing. But on the whole, I mean, I love the shutters, these things, they click when you close them. They did a lot of, intricate, detailed workmanship in this building, actually. The wood, the ceiling, you can't really see it, but amazing work. you can't get wood like this anymore. This place is a very important place because Prabhupada was here. And so the devotees who are trying to renovate this place, and manage the place, they actually, they're doing a great service. I won't mention their names, I don't want to embarrass them, but the presidents and all that. They're doing a wonderful job. So we should support them. And this place could become a pilgrimage place for the whole of France, actually. They don't build places like this anymore. But, the world is, things are getting better. Now I heard that at the Balaram festival, it's not Jayanti, we were reprimanded. It's not called Jayanti. What's his name? He told us that, yeah. So, but I heard that there were more people here then than even in the installation when Prabhupada was here. So things are improving, so we should never be negative. Sometimes we might think that Lord Chaitanya's moon isn't rising, or something's gone wrong, or the Kali Yuga is going to overtake. But I don't believe it, because I see that there are signs that, there is a kind of evolution of consciousness, generally speaking. Just like, recently we had a black president, Obama. So now, 200 years ago, the blacks were all slaves. In America, at least, maybe. So, and I was listening actually to, I shouldn't look at the news too much, but Michelle Obama, they had this Democratic convention because, personally, if certain people get into the presidency, it's going to be a bad situation. But anyway, she gave a very nice talk trying to uphold, American values, which is, morality, hard work. That's what the founding fathers, that was their thing. So, she said that this presidency is becoming a black job. Because, we had Obama and now Kamala Harris, she's half African, well, Trinidadian actually. Her father's from Trinidad. Because she wasn't kind of a snobbish Indian because she married someone from an African type body. So, and the vice president, her pick, his daughter's a vegetarian. And also the Trump's pick for vice president, his wife's Indian. Her name is Usha. And she got him to be a vegetarian. So I don't know who's going to win the presidential race. It's not very shastrical, this, but I'm just saying that we shouldn't get discouraged that there isn't some kind of evolution going on. That, people are more open-minded, generally speaking, more and more vegetarians, more and more interested in spiritual culture, Indian culture. So we see that Sanatana Dharma, Vedic philosophy is called the Varnashram, is called Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion. So this fact is proven by how in many places, at least in Western Europe, there are beautiful cathedrals. They took like 50 years to build, and some of the people they built them for, there was one called Saint David. Saint David, he was a vegetarian, he was a monk, but they built this beautiful cathedral. All the best buildings you find are churches, and every village in Europe had a church. Every little village. You go to any little village in the UK, there's a church. All the best buildings are churches. All the most beautiful buildings, they're all churches, but they're not used anymore. In the West, 85% of British people are atheistic. I don't know about the French, maybe more, I don't know. Maybe less.
85?
But-
Really?
Yeah, a lot of atheists in the UK. Well, anyway. So a lot of the churches, they become, coffee bars, yoga studios like that, whatever. But in India, they just opened the temple in Ayodhya to Lord Ram. And Ram appeared millions of years ago. Like several million years ago. I don't know exactly how long. So that temple is vibrant. It's so many thousands of people are visiting every day. You go to Tirupati. Tirupati temple has been there for millions of years. Balaji. And you've probably been, some of you, to Tirupati. You know how long you have to queue up to get into the temple. Have to queue up for several hours to go to the temple. So people, Indian Vedic, Indian culture is still very vibrant. And so, people go to see the deity and they offer everything to the deity. Like there are certain temples in India which have huge amounts of jewelry and gold. The president of the temple in Tirupati, the ISKCON temple, I can't remember his name, he was saying that they could take all the jewels and gold from certain temples in India. They give every Indian person $1 million. That's what he said. So therefore, Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanudura, Tatra Shru Druvayonitir. What's the last line?
Druvanitir Nitir Mama.
Yeah, that's it. So wherever there is Krishna, there is certainly opulence, morality, victory, and extraordinary power. So we have to bring Krishna into our lives. Of course, the Goswamis, they were not interested. They showed an opposite side of India. That beyond the wealth, they had fabulous kings, the Maharajas, very powerful. Man Singh. Anyone been to the palace, the king's palace in Jaipur? You've gone to the museum there, and it's got, Man Singh's armor. He was 7 foot tall. He was gigantic. He used to fight with tigers with a little dagger. Very brave. Mm-hmm. So, and some of those palaces in India, Udaipur, I remember there's a beautiful palace, the city palace. Very, very opulent. But of course, devotees are not trying, they can't be bothered to work. It's said that on the Battle of Kurukshetra, there was lots of gold lying around because all the people, the soldiers had a lot of gold and jewelry and everything else. The Brahmins, they couldn't be bothered to pick it up after the battle. Too much of a weight. So devotees, we're not trying to be wealthy like that. We'd like to get the wealth and bring it to Krishna to fix up the roof in New Mayapur. Yeah. But not for ourselves. So anyway, we have this wonderful philosophy, and of course the greatest wealth is knowledge. Because it says that a king becomes beautified, the world or the land, the country becomes beautified or glorious when there's a good king. A wife, she becomes beautified by having a good husband. And an ugly person becomes beautiful when they have knowledge. So we want to have knowledge. That is the real jewel. And of course, Rajavijja Rajaguyam Bhavidramithamutamam Pratakshavargamam Damyam Susukam Katam Avyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, is the most secret of all secrets, the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. So this is the ultimate knowledge. And because Krishna appeared in India, we find many times that Indian people are very cultured. and very intelligent. It's not all of them, probably you. But like, there's one 8-year-old grand chess master, Indian origin, lives in England. She only 8 years old. She's representing the UK in chess. Amazing, isn't it? You know, the spelling bee competitions, always won by Indians. But the Olympic Games, 5 bronze medals. It's funny. Some are rather not interested in that mundane sports. All the materialistic countries, they did so well in the Olympics. Of course, America was top, then China, Japan, France, UK, all materialistic countries. Indians got by far the biggest population, but they got 5 bronze medals. It's funny. But you know, Vedic culture is the ultimate culture. That why compete for some mundane award just because you prove that you can run faster than somebody else? Tiger can run faster than you, a cheetah can run faster than you. So what are you, a big animal? So, you know, people are so misled because they don't have anything better. But we have the best thing. We have the ultimate cure for everybody's problems, the spiritual knowledge. And we have to give this to other people. You know, it's our duty as devotees that whatever you do for Krishna, it's all perfect. Like if you clean this building, that's perfect. If you cook for the deities, whatever you do, you donate money, then that's perfection. And the more you do, the more Krishna will shower his mercy upon you. So what does it mean? Tesham satadiyuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam. So he says, to those who are constantly devoted, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Then another one is the Tesham evanukampaham. How's that one go? Tesham evanukampaham. Aham agyanajam tamaha. Was it? That's the one. Okay, so that means Krishna, he destroys with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Krishna is in our heart. So we should control the lower self by the higher self and strive to become ideal devotees. This is the goal, that when Krishna was harassed, or he wasn't harassed, but many demons were sent by Kamsa to kill him, so Nanda Maharaj, he was concerned. So he said, we need to get the blessings of the Brahmins. So, Yevamai Shikrita Suradurta, no, that's another one. Anyway, he said that we need to get the Brahmins who are not disturbed by the opulence of others, who are not materialistic, who are pure. I can't remember, how does it go? Anyway, he wanted to get the blessings of the Brahmins, because when the Brahmins are really Brahmins and they give their blessings, then there's no problems. So Prabhupada, in the purport, he said he wanted to create a class of Brahmins because he wanted to bless the world. So Lord Chaitanya, he's not here personally right now, but he has given his instructions. So he exhibited in his life how to be an ideal devotee. There's that verse by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, how's that one go? Vairagya Vijja Nija Bhakti Yoga Shiksha Tameka Purusha Prana
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya.
Kripa Buddhiriyasta Mahaprabhu.
Yeah. So he said, Lord Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he said, you have come to teach us what is real renunciation, what is real knowledge, out of your causeless mercy. So, real renunciation means to use everything in Krishna's service. That everything belongs to Krishna, and that we have to try to bring it back to Krishna, because Krishna, he wants it to be used to glorify him. Krishna likes to be glorified, and he likes to engage people in his service. So, because he likes more intimate relationships, but at least in the beginning we can worship Krishna with opulence, and that's why those temples in South India, they were so opulent, because all the best material objects were used to glorify Krishna. They had real, well, they do have real gold, real ornaments. In fact, the crown jewels from the UK were stolen from India. They should probably give them back. But everything should be used in Krishna's service. So especially our body belongs to Krishna. We shouldn't be proud of this body. The body is nothing to be proud of. It's actually an embarrassing thing to have a physical body. People, they're very proud of their body. They like to beautify their body, make the body smell good, etc., etc. But the body is a prison uniform, Prabhupada said. When you go to prison, you have a prison uniform. So when we came to this material world, we got awarded with this prison uniform, material body. So we should use our body. The body has some benefit. We can use it to glorify Krishna. We can use it to change the world. So this is the most important thing to do. That devotees, people can have a huge influence. The Son, like Jesus Christ, the top most influential people in this world, they're all actually celibate. Jesus Christ, Isaac Newton, and Tesla. They're all celibate. So we're not saying everybody has to be celibate, but still it's interesting that the three most influential people.
Gandhi also.
Huh?
Gandhi also.
Who?
Gandhi.
Gandhi, he wasn't celibate.
At the age of 33, decided, although he was married, he decided to be brahmachari the rest of his life.
33?
Modi.
Okay,
Modi also. His bachelor.
yeah. But anyway, so, we have a great opportunity to actually achieve perfection. This is the goal. Krishna's perfect. Somebody who's perfect can't create something imperfect. So ultimately, we're all potentially perfect. The soul is perfect, and the soul is actually endowed with love of God. So the whole process of Krishna consciousness is to bring out the love. And Krishna, he can reciprocate with everybody, but sometimes he pretends that there are so many devotees, specifically gopis, that do so much for Krishna, and he feels indebted. So he says, Napayaham nirvajasamyudam. How's that verse go? He says, Napayaham. When I get on the Vyasasana, I always forget my verses. I know it very well. Always forget. It's a good verse. He says that I cannot repay you for your spotless service in a lifetime of Brahma. You have given up your families. You have given everything to me. And there's nothing I can give you. Of course, they just wanted a smile from Krishna. So, Krishna is always obligated to his devotees, even a little bit of service, but ultimately we won't be satisfied until we give everything. Until we give everything, there'll always be some anxiety, there'll always be some disturbance. So, we have to ultimately see, what is the standard, Lord Chaitanya's standard, that Sanatana Goswami, when he went to see Lord Chaitanya, he had escaped from the clutches of the Nawab Sultan Shah, and he arrived in Varanasi, and he had a beard and he had some hair, and so Lord Chaitanya told Chandrasekhar, his servant, there's somebody at the door, go let him in. Well, there's a devotee at the door. So he went to the door and he saw Sanatana Goswami. He said, no, there's no devotee there. He said, he doesn't look like a devotee. So then he said, he had to go and get shaved up. You don't all have to shave up. It's fine. But then there was one last thing, that he had this expensive blanket, and Lord Chaitanya looked at it very disapprovingly. So he went down to the bank of the Ganga and he found a very poor person with a ragged old cloth, and he said, please give me your ragged old cloth and I'll give you my expensive blanket. So when he came back with the ragged cloth, then Lord Chaitanya was very happy. And he said, a good physician does not allow any trace of disease to remain in somebody's body. Because with a tiny trace of a disease, it can actually, become manifest again, your disease. So the chanting is like that in a way. The chanting, we say, Prabhupada says it's like the medicine. Rupa Goswami, it's the medicine. So the medicine doesn't always taste good. But, to become perfect doesn't happen overnight. It may take a long time. So therefore, if you stop chanting when you're still not perfect, your material disease, material tendencies may manifest again. So therefore, we have to be very serious about chanting, because that brings you have dental hygiene and you have transcendental hygiene. This is not my, that was Gauranga Prabhu. So, we want to be transcendentally hygienic, which means that by chanting the prescribed number of rounds, and it was quite interesting that Hari Prasad, he was saying how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he used to give people different numbers of rounds to chant. Some were 4, some were 8, some 16, 64. So it's all good. However many rounds you chant is good. But Prabhupada said that if you want to go back to Godhead, you have to chant 16 rounds a day, because you have to have a guru. Now, Prabhupada, all the acharyas, they have slightly different kind of instructions. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's, his was different, Prabhupada's was different, but he's the founder acharya. So he set the standard, 16 rounds a day, that if you want to get initiated, you want to go back to Godhead, you have to chant 16 rounds a day. Now, it's not always easy to chant 16 rounds a day. Anyone find it very easy? It's not so easy. It takes time, and it can be very, like almost chewing nails. It doesn't necessarily get any easier. And I heard the example that when you drill in the ground, the topsoil is easy to get through. And then when you get down further, you have the rocks. So sometimes, in the beginning, chanting 16 rounds is easier than it can be later on. But devotees, we have to be very determined. That's one of the main qualifications of devotee. Determined to actually get out of the material world. Because this world is not a fit place for a gentleman. Everywhere you go, you find the same problems. And we could be in the spiritual world, and we could have a beautiful spiritual body, whatever it is. So we have to be we have to persevere. I don't know if you understand that word. Persevere means never give up trying. Keep trying. Even if you sometimes, get distracted by Maya, but your eyes should be on the goal. Just like Arjuna, he had his eye was on the eye of the fish, and he only saw that. So our goal is to actually become perfect, and we should see what are the actual qualifications of a devotee, 26 qualities of a devotee. There's 25 duties of a human being, which are in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The most difficult one is, anyone know? One of the 25 duties of a human being is to be satisfied. So, we have to be satisfied with who we are. That we may not be superstars, we may not be great devotees, but we have our karma. We are what we deserve to be, exactly. So we have to be satisfied with who we are. Now what we see sometimes is that when people become devotees, somebody else has already been a much more advanced devotee in their previous life. And so when this more advanced devotee, he starts to have great success, then some persons who aren't as advanced, they get jealous, they get envious. And I would say that most of the devotees that leave Krishna consciousness and become critical are people who become jealous of other devotees and they criticize them. So that is a very dangerous kind of mentality, because as soon as you start to criticize devotees, then you will definitely lose your taste for chanting Hare Krishna. If you've lost your taste for chanting Hare Krishna, then you need to look at your relationships. Look at and see, have you been criticizing people? Have you been mentally criticizing people? Because that is why we lose our taste. So we have to be very careful, when we look at people, oh, he's not a very good singer, he doesn't really do very much. We have to be very careful, because a devotee is very rare, and devotees are very dear to Krishna. We can't judge how pleasing someone is to Krishna. Like somebody could be a terrible singer, but they might be much more pleasing than somebody who can sing nicely. We don't know. Krishna's, he's the judge. He doesn't judge by your musical attributes. He judges by your mood of devotion. So, anyway, we have this wonderful opportunity. I didn't really talk much about the particular contents of the verse, except that, Krishna wants to have fun all the time, and we can join Krishna in the spiritual world and have fun, but there's a price you pay. You have to give everything. Ultimately, we have to give everything. Nothing held back, no secrets, just pure devotional service. Anyabalastasam Yangyana Kamadhyana Anukulyena Krishna Shilanam Bhaktiruttama. So we want to aspire to achieve perfection and aspire to change the world. Nobody else can do it. We're the only ones. There's no other religion. There's no other philosophy. There's nothing else that has the depth of knowledge of how to organize society, of how to eat properly, how to think properly, how to make spiritual progress. So we have a huge responsibility because nobody else can do it. So please take it seriously, and you won't regret it. I feel so fortunate that I made the right decision 50 years ago to become a devotee. I never regretted it. I've never thought I made the wrong choice. I've had a wonderful life, and it'll get better and better. But you have to work for it. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments you'd like to say?
What is the correlation between Krishna's eating dirt?
Because what? Between what?
Krishna eating dirt in his childhood, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eating dirt in his childhood, because both of them eat dirt.
Well,
what is the correlation?
I mean, when Lord Chaitanya ate dirt, he was trying to teach philosophy. He was trying to teach his mother that everything, it's not all one. He was teaching that, the dirt can become a pot and the pot can hold water, but otherwise the dirt is just dirt. So he taught high philosophy even though he was just a baby. And Krishna, he ate dirt so that he could show Mother Yashoda the universal form in his mouth and just give her something to think about. That my baby is not an ordinary baby, although he acts like a baby, but he's extraordinary. He just likes to have fun. He wanted to bewilder her. Harini, you have a question?
You said we always feel anxiety until we
Huh?
give everything. You said we always feel anxiety until we give everything.
Yeah.
So my question is, how can we give everything?
How can we give everything? Well, we have to have that goal in mind. We just have to fix our minds on becoming better devotees. It's a gradual process, it's something you have to work for. I mean, I've got a long way to go. I sleep too much, I eat too much. But, I try to follow properly. I mean, like I live in Alachua, I don't think it's the same here. A lot of the people that come to the morning program, they're Prabhupada disciples. Most of the people. There's not many younger people coming, but they're very serious because when they were young devotees, they got it drummed into them that you have to follow properly your whole life. You don't give up at a certain point. You have to follow properly. So we don't know when or if we'll ever become perfect, but we do want to go back to Godhead, and you can't go back to Godhead if you have material desires. So we really want to come to the point of not having material desires anymore, because we know that they will drag us back to the material world. So, the process actually works. I used to have material desires. I don't really have any anymore. I can't be bothered to work hard or anything. I try to do some service. But there's nothing in this world that I really desire very much. I see the people with money and they're not happy. They have a nice car, nice house. I have no attraction for that. I have attraction for, if I had a good memory, I would be very happy. I would love to be able to remember what I read verbatim, repeat it verbatim. It would be so nice, but that's my only real desire. To give knowledge to people, but we're limited, you know, we may not be empowered to give a lot of knowledge to people. So you have to accept your karma and make the best of it. Anything else? Okay. Any comments? Alright, Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai. Adikarta Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna.